Rob, do you have a light?
Oh, let's have it. Oh, it looked like the mixer for the.
Oh, let's lose that.
Are we about to start this?
McDonald's cup. Here.
When we made Evil Dead, I wanted to do something that... Sam, what were the origins of your low-budget horror movie, Evil Dead? What do you mean by low budget? So that it was your intention from the beginning to make a brutal, savage horror film? Yes.
So I just got back from the movie theater after watching the new film Send Help by my favorite director, Sam Raimi. And, oh boy, yeah, did he do it again.
Oh boy, yeah.
Sam Raimi started as a young filmmaker, just messing around with his friends, like we all have, trying to make something intense with almost no money. That experiment became The Evil Dead, and it didn't just launch his career, it changed horror movies. What makes The Evil Dead so special isn't the budget or the story. On paper, it's simple. But Raimi shoots it like the camera itself is possessed. It flies through the woods, crashes into doors, rushes at characters like a predator. That energy is what made the film feel new. It wasn't polished, it was raw and aggressive, and creative in a way audiences haven't seen before.
I think it's the same syndrome for all low-budget filmmakers. They just don't have the money to do it right, so they've got to do it. They've got to sit down and figure it out. Well, how can I make somebody float? Well, something has to lift them up. Well, what's going to lift them up? Wires? I don't have wires thin enough, nor do I have a rig to mount to the ceiling of this place. What else? So I think it's just common sense.
So do you think as you move into a bigger budget that you might lose some of your common sense to start?
Yeah, I think that happens. I think you suddenly say, how can I get someone to float? An anti-grav disc. How much will it cost to make an anti-grav disc?
Sam Raimi always had a dream of making movies, of creating something that felt bigger than himself. In high school, Raimi started shooting goofy slapstick Super 8 shorts with his friends, Bruce Campbell and Robert Tappert. You can still find some of these early films online, and it's fascinating to watch how those tiny experiments slowly evolved into something more ambitious. Eventually, this group of young filmmakers made a choice. Instead of staying in school, they left to go make a movie. For real.
Robert Tappert, Bruce Campbell, and myself all bought business suits and matching briefcases and dropped out of school. Then we worked as waiters, busboys, janitors, cab drivers.
So how old were you then?
18.
They then shot a short film called Within the Woods, which basically served as a prototype for The Evil Dead.
The reason we made this picture was to show the potential investors that these kids, us, that we could make a picture that worked, a horror movie that actually could scare them. I mean, that was our goal, at least. I hope it scared them.
Somehow that scheme worked, and the short helped them raise the money to finance Sam Raimi's first feature film, The Evil Dead.
And if there's a good scare and it's working, they'll shriek their heads off in unison. And if you've made the movie and you've got a horror movie in a good house, in a good crowd like that, there's no greater thrill in the world to watch him scream. You just kind of giggle in the background. It's great. It's you really feel like you're entertaining him and that it's working.
Raimi wasn't handed anything. He wasn't some rich Hollywood boy with connections. He was just a guy from Michigan who had something stronger than money, passion.
Why not have a guy who made, Evil Dead for $350,000 do Spiderman? Because that's the guy you want, not the guy who's used to having everything all the time. Give it to someone who's used to doing a bunch with nothing. Now you give him something, and you can. I think it was a good choice.
That passion is clear in Sam's entire filmography. This is one of the reasons why I love Sam and his films. You can see the passion behind every single camera move.
Is Spider-Man your most challenging movie? Can you say this?
In many ways it was. The technical problems that were presented by what I had just referenced, the bringing about of this character on the screen, when I knew it couldn't be an actor or a stuntman, it was mind-boggling how we were going to pull that off. How were we going to create this illusion? So that challenge was probably the biggest making the film.
When people talk about Sam Raimi's career, the Spider-Man trilogy is where his style hit the mainstream, but it's always been there. Before those movies, superhero films weren't treated with the same sincerity as now we see the MCU. Raimi didn't just make an action movie, he made a melodrama about responsibility, guilt, and growing up. What's brilliant is how Raimi injects his horror roots into a superhero story. The camera still moves like it did in Evil Dead. Sam Raimi is still there. It swoops through New York like a living thing. Action scenes aren't just coverage, they're perspective. When Spider-Man swings, the camera swings. When Doc Ock attacks in Spider-Man 2, it feels chaotic and dangerous in a way most superhero fights still don't. And there's tone. Raimi doesn't sand down the weirdness, he leans into it. Movies are emotional and sincere, but also exaggerated and funny. Even Spider-Man 3, messy as it is, shows how personal his filmmaking can be. That's why those films still stand out decades later. They're not just early superhero movies, they're Sam Raimi movies first. They have personality, they have risk, they have heart. And that's the brilliance of Raimi's Spider-Man.
The great strength of Spider-Man as the fact that he's a real person. He's one of us. He's a kid from Brooklyn who doesn't have a lot of money. He doesn't get the girls. He's got acne. He's fairly average-looking kid. He's well, slightly better than average.
I think why Sam Raimi's films and stories stick with me the most is because it reminds me why movies matter in the first place. He's my favorite director not just for the films themselves, but for the spirit behind them all. There's something real about knowing it all started with just a few friends and a camera, just trying to make something that excited them. No guarantees, no blueprint, just the need to create. Watching his journey from those rough Super 8 shorts to the Evil Dead franchise and beyond makes filmmaking feel more human. It shows that great work doesn't come from perfect circumstances. It comes from people willing to experiment, fail, and keep going. That raw energy is still inside all his movies, and it's why they feel so alive decades later. Raimi's career is proof that passion isn't some abstract idea, it's practical. It's what turns small projects into big ones, and dreams into something tangible. And every time you look back at where he started, it's a reminder that every filmmaker begins somewhere small. The difference is who keeps going.
Say hello to the 21st century.
I won't be spoken to in that manner.
You talking back to me?